was going to say, I'll knock that over. Before I share what I've written today, I wanted to just take a moment to answer a question. Because I feel like there's this common curiosity that some have that says, like, well, why do you keep going to Celebrate Recovery if you no longer struggle with addiction? My answer is that I have experienced the miracle of forgiving other people and being forgiven by people. But I've also experienced how quickly sin can creep back into your life. And if it's not sin, then it's a hurt or a resentment. And this side of heaven, I'm always going to struggle with those. Yeah. So I'm always going to need recovery for that instruction and that encouragement to keep myself and my relationships healthy. We have a saying in CR we close every meeting with that says, keep coming back because it works and you're worth it. And it's God who is working in me and on me. And it's God who tells me that I'm worth it, that my marriage is worth it, and that my children are worth it. Amen. I'm not striving for perfection. I just want to be better than who I used to be. I want to be a better mother than the flawed version I've allowed my kids to see. I had tapped into this well of built-up rage, and I chose to co-parent my children with anger. They never had to fear a boogeyman or some monster under the bed when I was the danger. Some parents break promises, but me, I broke their spirit. All because of the pain I carried and this belief that no one wanted to see or hear it. They were the collateral damage in the aftermath of a marriage that was burned to ashes. While I didn't pour the gasoline, I couldn't pick them up till I put down the matches. Like secondhand smoke, I have exposed them to the toxicity of all my addictions. I let them watch me struggle to fight my temptations and wrestle with my convictions. I started as a girl abused, and I grew up confused because I bought the lie that I had asked for it. So I took my trauma and I made a mask for it. Filled with self-medication and sin, I left no room for Jesus to step in. Without Christ, I turned my pain into a weapon. Anything good in my life, relationships, ambitions, successes, the enemy has taken and used that weapon to attack. Every victory I've earned, the growth from each lesson learned, are all owed to the choice I make to keep coming back. I am not the abuse I suffered. I am not my old addiction. I'm not my sinful choices. I'm not the defects still undiscovered. I am a survivor. I am redeemed and I am restored. I'm a work in progress, taking it one day at a time. I am recovered. I co-parent my children with patience, and I no longer feel like there is some war I need to wage. I can be the mother they need and deserve because I'm tapped into a source greater than my rage. I thought a cord of three meant resentment, mistrust, and fear, not being held together by something higher. Now I have a cord with Christ woven in its center, and when flames begin to rise, there is another in the fire. I have ended the cycle of family dysfunction by sparing my children from becoming the victims of my disorders. In a broken world where the enemy's in a battle for the destruction of souls, I need to raise them to be warriors. I'm working to be more like Jesus, to just love myself where I'm at. I want my daughters to see me grateful with wherever that may be. I tell them it's not who the world says you are, but who Jesus says you are, so that when they look in the mirror, that's who they see. I'm showing my sons that when they make mistakes, it's how they learn from them and what steps they take after that'll make a greater impression. I don't want them to live with the same fear I did, this fear that we're bound to repeat the sins of our fathers, like our inheritance is their transgression. Recovery has rewritten my legacy, what my children will say about me, what my friends and family will remember, that when I was faced with the trauma of my past or an affliction caused by my sins or my fear, I didn't surrender. We don't know how much time we have on this earth, and I've decided not to spend what little time I may have bound in chains. I put in the work to heal from the pain. I learned how to change the way I view myself and others, so now peace is all that remains. Christ has given me peace with my past, granted me peace in my relationships, and while I must work on something new every day, I'm content. He's freed me from my afflictions, given me a joy and a promise to be supremely happy forever in eternity. That's more than I ever could have dreamt. That's what Jesus offers, that we may have life and have it abundantly. But to think that we don't have to work for that is just naive. And it's no better thinking that Jesus can't heal or handle whatever it is you're carrying when the only requirement he's ever had is to believe. There's no promise that God won't give us more than we can handle. We will not escape trials, suffering, or temptations. He will never give us more than he can handle. That's why he gave us the Holy Spirit in his word to endure all situations. When we are given more than we can handle, and we will be, it's an invitation to seek the Lord. He says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This is not done to break us, but done to shape us. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. It's his strength that takes over when we cry out to him that we have none left. I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ who has victory over addiction. And while I still struggle with anger and codependency, with Christ, I remain undefeated. It's time to admit the struggle. It's time to heal the pain. It's time to step out of denial, because if you want to win the war, you have to stop living like you've already conceded.
That's right.
Thank you.